All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Hollywood that conservatives think is all Hollywood. Pedo Hollywood, baby. Let's get into it. We're talking independent films today on the franchise of the late 90s and the late aughts. All right. And we're talking about the films of Todd Solondz, Happiness and its belated pseudo sequel, Life During Wartime. To get into this, let me bring in my co-host. Hey, Logan, you ever been diddled before?
What do you mean diddled?
Yeah, when you were young, did like any grown men touch you anywhere? I thought
No.
we'd start off with a bang this week.
No, that never happened. My life is pretty messed up. That never happened to me.
Never,
Never.
never. You didn't have like one moment where it was like, "What's going on here?"
Not one time. And I even have thought back. I've been like, maybe like I've tried to like uncover things and nothing has ever happened.
I gotta tell you, I have too. You know, in the wake of like Me Too, I was like, God damn, when you're a kid, you're just innocent, man. People can do whatever they want to you. And I have thought about that. Like, what the fuck? Did I have any weird situations in like baseball or something? But I don't think I did.
Yeah, it'll
I
be
don't
just
think
like Johnny
anyone
Grasso.
I don't think anyone wanted my little pee pee.
No, nobody. Does that offend you?
Um, no, I guess not. I guess not. Like that's weird. Like I'm glad that my parents kept me safe enough that I wasn't around any pedophiles as a kid or any ones that like were really active. I guess.
Is that a It's Always Sunny episode
Listen,
where
I was irresistible. If I was around a pedo, they would have fucking fingered my butt.
do you think so? I mean, I'm sure you were around lots of them
No, I'm telling you,
at
I've
one
never
point.
been around a pedo, or else they would have.
What are you talking
That's
about?
that's how confident I am
In your
in
ability
in
to
what a
seduce?
sexy little boy I was.
I don't know. The little boy in the second movie still believed his dad wasn't one.
Well, I mean, you want to believe anything about your parents, right? I
Should we
would
get
have had
into?
a hard time believing my dad was a pedo if I found that out.
Is the dad dead at the end?
Is the dad dead at the end?
We see like a ghost at the end. Is the dad dead?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. That's it's
My
open
two
to
big questions
interpretation.
was the dad dead and does Joy kill herself at the end?
Holy shit, I never thought that.
Well, her last time we see her, she's talking to Michael K. Williams and he's telling her to kill herself.
Yeah, but she doesn't do it.
She's in a bathroom. I mean, we don't know what
No,
happens after
to
that.
me, she's defiantly not doing it at the end of that scene.
That's not
Let's
my
talk about
interpretation.
it. All right.
All right.
To talk about happiness and life
By the
during.
way, guys, my name's Logan. I'm 0-2 in my fantasy football league with the franchise. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you got your ass kicked this week, bro.
No, it wasn't. I lost by like 10 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm 1-1. Not bad.
I'm 1-1 in
And
my
I
other
had the
leagues.
most points of anyone in the franchise fantasy football league this week. All right.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling. You don't get any special points, but it's always a great feeling when that happens.
You better believe it. All right. So to talk about.
Who'd you have? Did you have like Stephon Diggs or somebody?
No, my opponent
Lamar
actually
Jackson?
did.
Who'd you have then that was so good?
I don't know. I just had like a bunch of guys working in tandem, bro. All right, I got a God Squad over there. So to talk about these movies, let's talk about Todd Solondz, where these films originated. I mean, this guy's an auteur. He wrote and directed both of them. At the beginning of his career, he started in film with the intention of also starring in his movies, but that didn't pan out for him. He grew up a film and comedy nerd in the late 70s, early 80s. He went to college for film in the 80s. He worked his way up, made a film school made a short film that got some notice, and then made his first film, Fear, Anxiety, and Depression, which he
That's the one
starred
he's
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he starred in as a dude named Ira. And you watch it now, and it doesn't really work. He's watched a lot of early Woody Allen, and he's probably been influenced by like Richard Linklater and Jim Jarmusch's early films, and it's just sort of a hodgepodge, and he is not that charismatic elite. He's not a Woody Allen.
Okay. We also did Welcome to the Dollhouse. I'm gonna watch that tonight, D-Train.
All right. I mean, it doesn't really help us for this
I
podcast.
know. Well, it wouldn't help you anyway because I wouldn't talk about it here. I would talk about it on, hey, I'm watching here.
Oh, that's right. Patreon.com/the franchise. We have a new show that we do weekly. Hey, hey, you, hey, you. I'm watching it.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Um, so Solange bails. His first film is a failure. Doesn't make any money. Doesn't. No one goes to see it. It's not even really critically noticed, and so he just like bails out, and he gets a job in New York, teaching foreign people like English as a second language, which you see in Happiness. He used.
Okay.
Um, so he just like didn't work in film for years, and then like friends of his were going like, dude, like you're good, like you should be doing
Did
something
that
with
happen where
this.
he hooked up with a student?
Oh, I don't know that.
Do you think he is the Joy character?
I do think that of the characters in this movie, he's the Joy character.
I
I
think,
don't think he's that exactly, but I think that's probably what he's writing towards.
yeah, she has the song.
She does have the song.
She's probably the first build, I think, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's because she's the star or if
And her name is
because
Joy, and the movie's Happiness.
true. Yeah. But Jane Addams is also first billed both in terms of alphabetizing alphabetical, and also she's first you see on screen. So you don't know if that billing is real or not.
Yeah, Adams is hard to beat alphabetically, right? ADA.
Yeah.
But
You have to be
my
like
name,
Jason Aaron.
Adair, beats it. Crazy, right?
You're right, man.
But like,
How
yeah,
you
Aaron would beat my name. There are very few names that beat my name. I was always first in school. Well, my brothers were
I was
first,
thinking
but
about this, like the villain in that Lord of the Rings show right now, which we've been talking about on. Hey, I'm watching it.
not anymore. We quit.
Yeah, we dropped it after episode 4. It's the villain is Adar. I was thinking about how that's pretty close to Adair.
It is pretty close.
All right, great. Glad I said that. All right. So he comes back. He makes a film, Welcome to the Dollhouse. All right, and then this was his breakthrough, baby. And breakthrough it did. It won a bunch of like Independent Spirit Awards, and it was at festivals. And Heather Matarazzo is a real breakthrough star. Even Scream was like, let's make her Jamie Kennedy's sister.
Oh, you're talking about
And
the Dollhouse? I thought you were talking about this
yeah,
movie.
yeah. And well, that came first, and so like that put him on the map. And then with Happiness, this was sort of the movie. Like a lot of people look at this movie and it's like, how the fuck did anyone greenlight this? And it's just because Welcome to the Dollhouse was a success and it was kind of a weird movie. So they were like, all right, we'll make your next weird movie.
Yeah. Is there another movie that's like this?
Like what? Like this? How?
As I don't even know, as like raw and honest and
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's filmmakers like that. Like you have to. Salons is probably influenced by like
he just
John.
lets you sit. He just like lets you sit in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I recommend John Cassavetes. I recommend John Waters. I recommend other Todd Solondz films.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think.
It reminded me of
Neil
Magnolia, kind of.
LaBute. Neil LaBute's probably worth checking out for you if you're interested in that.
Yeah, I've got all these people on my list.
All right, cool. LaBute's got a new one out. It's a horror film. He's like tricking horror nerds into watching Neil LaBute movies. I like it.
Okay.
All right, so Happiness comes out October 16th, 1998. In the theaters here in America. It had a $2.2 million budget. I got to imagine some of that was used to secure this large cast of like at the time major indie actors, and it ends up being kind of like a little indie hit. It made 5.7 million at the box office. It was number 180 at the box office between other indies. Love and Death on Long Island with Jason Priestley and John Hurt, very good film. And The Mighty, which was based on a book. That's one of these things you open up, and on the pages there's words, and it tells a story.
Wow.
And we had to read Freak the Mighty in elementary school, and so I've definitely seen that
You
movie, The
read a
Mighty.
book in elementary school?
You never read a chapter book in elementary? They don't do that in Alabama.
I think they taught us the alphabet in 6th grade.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we learned how to read and write in like 1st grade, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I was great at cursive, if I'm being honest. Like when I was a little kid, I was like the best in my class at cursive.
Well, I gotta tell you, I wasn't. I wasn't really good at writing freehand in general. I remember that on early elementary school report cards, Logan, it was 4 possible grades you could get. The best was E. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second best, G.
Good.
Good. Third best, S.
Satisfactory.
Boom. Fourth and worst, N.
Not satisfactory.
No, I don't want to tell you what N stood for.
Oh my god.
No, it was needs improvement. And
I do remember this. I think we had this too.
Okay,
for a little
so
while.
I'll always remember getting pwned by my parents, getting reamed out because I got good grades in elementary school, but I always got needs improvement in penmanship.
Wow. Was your sister like the better student than you? Did they always like compare you to her?
No.
Like she was way better?
No, I was way better than her.
Oh,
She
wow.
was a mess.
I was
No,
just
whatever. Like, I don't care. She's doing better than me now, probably. She's got like kids that my parents like and stuff.
As opposed to you, kids that they don't like.
No, I mean they like my kid too. He just happens to be like a 23-year-old in Alabama.
They like me?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
My mom listens to the show.
That's amazing. That makes me feel so good.
Good. The movie was nominated for 1 Golden Globe.
Mm-hmm.
The GGs, the Golden Globes is the Hollywood of our French. And it was nominated for screenplay, which you'd expect, right? Like that's the one award this would ever be nominated for at a major award show.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, that's what they like. They'll throw a weird movie a bone with a screenplay nomination. You know, they're not nominating John Cusack for Best Actor for being John Malkovich, but we'll throw it a screenplay nomination.
All right. There's one scene, kind of, that I was like, that's a little much.
One scene in a 2-hour and 20-minute movie.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
that
pretty
killed
good.
its chances.
Yeah, you're right.
What was the scene?
It's when they're eating dinner, and the kid is like, would you ever let me stay alone? Ronald Farber's alone right now. Go rape him.
You know, I gotta tell you, I don't think that was too much because it didn't occur to me until right now that that's how he knew Ronald Farber was alone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But maybe that's just because I'm a moron.
But then it's immediately redeemed when he's driving to the PTA meeting, and it shows the Watch Children sign, and you're like, oh fuck, that is the greatest thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those movies that had a rep at the time for being like fucked up, you know? So like I was like really excited to see it. It came out when I was like 12 and like first getting into film. I didn't see it right away. This
Is
was
it fucked up in like an edgy way, like you say? I didn't feel like it like an edgelord way. It felt like
it's not done in like an I don't feel that way at all. I just think it's talking about shit no one was talking about at the time.
Yeah.
It was the late 90s. I feel like the word pedo is on everybody's lips now because the Republicans are obsessed with the idea that Democrats are like raping babies in pizza basements or something. So like, but at the time, like I feel like diddling kids was just this sort of thing we tried to pretend didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and that's of course not even the only issue. Like we're talking about the Dylan Baker story just because it's like the most fucked up.
It's the best one.
But I mean, there's so much odd sexuality on display here from, you know, Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Vlad.
What's that?
Vlad,
sure.
love that guy.
Even like the Cameron Manheim character, who's like,
Who's that?
She's the one who may or may not have chopped off the doorman's cock,
Oh,
which of course made me very nervous. I
she-
gotta
she-
tell you,
right, yeah.
I had not seen this movie since becoming a doorman,
Oh,
and I
wow, I
do
was gonna
not
ask
like
you.
the way they are treated in this film.
What do you mean may or may not have? Doesn't she say she did?
Well, no, she says that she didn't rip off his genitals because she didn't want to touch them again because he had
Oh.
just raped her. But then in Life During Wartime, they make it a point to specifically say that dude's genitals got cut off.
Well, I thought she said she was like cutting up his whole body.
Well, he did. Yeah, she dismantled his body, but she didn't cut off his cock because
But
she didn't
no,
want to touch
but I
it.
think she cut off his body around his penis. Is what happened. So they found a penis and assumed, oh, somebody cut off the penis, but she didn't cut off the penis. She cut off the whole body off the penis.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Different interpretations
she's like Hannibal
of the
Lecter.
same cock dismantling.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it.
That's
Pedro.
weird. I was sort of into that when she starts telling the story because I was like, where is this going? And I liked how it was made. But I don't know if Philip Seymour Hoffman needed more stuff like that.
Philip Seymour Hoffman does have a ton of shit in this movie. He's like a creepy phone caller. He comes on his wall and
Sticks an envelope
and
on it.
sticks
The
and
most
sticks
disgusting thing
postcards
I'd ever seen.
on the cum to affix it to the wall. And he also wants to have sex with his neighbor Laura Flynn Boyle. He also
His therapist is a child rapist.
Yeah, that's right. And his other neighbor wants to fuck him, who murdered their doorman. So there is a lot going on with that character. This is one of those movies like Magnolia,
Yeah,
where it's just like
and it's got Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, good point. It's just like a shit ton of random characters that seem like they're not connected, but you like slowly realize they all are. Like, oh, that one's sister, and that one's therapist.
Can I tell you?
And shit like that.
Since we talked about is it Save Me? Is that the name of that song? I think that was our Toy Story 2 episode. Because that was 99. Since we talked about that, I've watched that music video 4 times.
It's a good song, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a great video. You get to like watch the movie basically. It's
Do you
awesome.
now agree that it's better than "You'll Be in My Heart" by Phil Collins from the Tarzan soundtrack?
Yeah, sure, but it's not better than when
She
When
Loves
She Loves
Me?
Me,
Are
yeah.
you kidding me? If it was up against You've Got a Friend in Me, you might have a point. But come on.
No, I do agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, did I say what it lost screenplay to at the Golden
No.
Globes? Fucking Shakespeare in Love.
Wow.
Dude, what a juggernaut that year. You know what was weird about that year? Was the previous year.
I was born that year. That was weird about that year.
That was a weird thing about that year. There were these weird Alabamans fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, let's name this kid after Wolverine.
I didn't know Wolverine.
Are you sure?
I was named-
where'd they come up with Logan?
I was named after a book, actually, D-Train.
Outrageous. Have you ever read it?
No.
Maybe you should.
It's this author, I think his name's like Louis L'Amour or something like that.
I've heard of that. Yeah, he
made,
writes like
Western
spy
books.
movies. Oh, Western books?
Yeah, Louis L'Amour or something like that. And there was like a person named Logan. I don't know exactly.
Wait, Louis L'Amour. I have heard of that guy.
Apparently not. You didn't know what I was talking about.
No, he does. He writes like there are all horses on all his books.
Yeah, that's what I said. You said he wrote alien movies.
I was thinking of a different guy. But now, then when you said Western, it came to me. They reference him on Comedy Bang Bang sometimes.
Wow. Maybe they know
Yeah.
my namesake.
Could be. So what's the book that you?
I don't know. He has millions.
I want to find it.
I'm
So
sure.
was it just a character in the book, or was it the title of the book?
I think it was a character in a book.
God damn, I want to know.
But he had this guy has.
Oh, he had a book called Radigan. That could have been your name.
That's
He had a
nice.
book called Lando. That could have been your name.
I have a stepbrother named Landon, actually.
Oh my God! Is it because of this guy?
No, my stepfather's way too stupid to have ever
Do you
read a
have
book.
another stepbrother named named Flint?
Nope.
Or Taggart?
Nope.
Or perhaps the the Key Lock Man.
Nope.
You don't have a stepbrother called the Key Lock Man?
Nope.
All right, bummer. All right, anyway. Fucking fascinating.
Was The Sopranos on when this movie came out?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Or maybe it had just premiered.
Why
do you ask?
Well, that reminded me of The Sopranos, how like the therapist goes to the therapist.
Yeah, and they both take place in Jersey, dude.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Well, Solans is from Jersey, so he places most of his shit there. Like, we see New York a couple of times when Lara Flynn Boyle is riding around the city, but it's mostly in Jersey.
Which one is she? The sexy one?
Yeah, she's the sexy one. It's weird that both of Philip Seymour Hoffman's neighbors were on The Practice at the time.
Yeah, that was so weird to me.
Oh, come on. You don't know what that is? All right. Listen to this. David E. Kelly, he was like the top guy at the time in TV.
Yeah, I've
all
heard
right?
of him.
All right. He had 2 shows on the air simultaneously at this point, both lawyer shows. Okay. The Practice and Ally McBeal. All right. I believe it was maybe this year or the year after. David E. Kelly at the Emmys wins Best Comedy and Best Drama. The Practice wins drama. Ally McBeal wins comedy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Wow. What a
All
year.
right, that doesn't impress you?
Yeah, it's impressive.
Well, how about this? He fucks Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, wow. She can wear some pants.
Yeah, and he gets to see her without him.
Still?
Yeah, they've been together since like 1993 or something.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. She just like
So right after Batman? Holy shit.
I know, man. That's how hot this writer guy was.
Does that happen where like a hot actor is with just a writer?
Yeah. What's her face? Emmy Rossum.
Yeah.
She's with that dude who created Mr. Robot now.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Sam Esmail.
Okay, as long as she's not with Rami Malek.
I
don't like that guy. I never saw Mr. Robot. I don't like that guy.
Look at you. You don't like that guy.
No.
What's wrong with Rami? His eyes bug you?
Yeah, his eyes bug me. He sucked
his
in
eyes
Bohemian
bug him
Rhapsody.
too.
He's good. Isn't he in Short Term 12? He's good in that movie.
Yeah, he's good and stuff. The problem is he's just that Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. It makes people not like him.
Yeah, and did he win for that or no?
Yeah.
Oh, he won for. Oh my god.
It was a bummer.
Yeah, that's rough.
And it's like, yeah, you put in those teeth. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where are we?
I don't know. This movie's like all over the place. I feel like we were just jumping around.
I know, but how did I get on that shit?
We talked about The Sopranos.
I was gonna tell you about Shakespeare in Love, dude.
All right.
That year, the year before, Matt and Ben won all the screenwriting awards. Damon and Affleck, for Good Will Hunting.
Oh, right.
And so everyone was so into that. Like they'd get up at all the award shows and they'd accept together and they'd hug and they had such a nice rapport and everyone loved that shit. And so then the next year, Shakespeare in Love was the hot movie and it was written by these dudes, Mark Norman and Tom Stoppard. And everyone thought that it was going to be like that.
Is that like Blink-182, Mark and Tom?
Mark and Tom, yeah. Yeah. And they had a dude they didn't let talk named Travis. And but he later married the hottest one. So fucking what was I talking about? Yeah, you get me off
the new
my
guys,
track.
Mark and Tom, won the award.
Mark and Tom, right? So they started giving them all the awards, but then it came out after they started winning the awards that they'd never met each other.
What?
During the making of the movie. Like one dude wrote a draft and then the other dude wrote the other draft and that was it. Then the movie got made. So like they had no rapport on stage. They would go up and accept awards together and he'd be like, "Nice to meet you." So,
oh my goodness.
It's very weird.
Did they ever work together again? Were they like, "Wow, we won the award our first try. We got to do it again"?
No, I don't think they ever worked together again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But
maybe when one gets cancer, they'll reunite, make another movie. That's what happened with Blink-182, right?
Is that what happened with Blink-1? One of them got cancer.
Didn't one get cancer
Mark,
and then they came
I think
together?
Mark
again?
got cancer. Do they have a cancer album where all the songs are about cancer?
Maybe not yet. Maybe it's in the works.
They should,
I
or
don't
at least
remember.
like half the songs are about cancer and half the songs are about California.
Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, aliens. Dude, I gotta say, I was into Tom DeLonge's alien thing for a while, and I'm out on it now.
I never really got into it.
Well,
Any
I
songs
mean,
that have alien in the title, I just like kind of skip.
Aliens Exist is an incredible song.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. But Tom was like really doing the research for a while, like with the government and like really getting stuff out there about aliens, and I was excited about it. And now he's like charging people an arm and a leg to get like further information. Like he's giving out alien information that he's found out, but he's like charging people $1,000 to like get it.
Oh my
It's
god.
weird.
It is weird.
I don't know. He must be like in trouble with the law, or I don't know, like tax issues or something.
Yeah. Or just a jerk.
Yeah, or just a jerk. All right, so I didn't see this right when it came out, but I saw it a few years later, and it was like mind blowing. I got really into Todd Solondz. Um, so what did you think of it going in?
What do you mean? Like, what did I
Like,
know
what?
about it?
Yeah, what were your
No, I didn't know
expectations
anything.
for it? All right,
Oh, I
so
knew. Okay, I'll tell you what I knew. I saw the. Oh, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I saw the poster. It's like an orange poster, and it's like these cartoon people, and I thought it would be funny, to be honest. And it is kind of. It's not. It's not funny. This isn't a comedy or anything, but there are parts of
I
it.
I think it's totally a comedy.
Really,
Yeah,
I there was like one part where I laughed. I think, and a few parts where
I
I
laugh
was
a
like,
lot at this movie. Like to me, I think the use of the music as
yes,
it is completely influential on shit like Curb Your Enthusiasm and It's Always Sunny in
the
Philadelphia.
ironic
That
like comedy
Yeah,
with
that would like later use like stock, old timey
absolutely.
happy movie music to score their
And
scenes.
the scene with Molly Shannon where they're at Joy's work and she's talking about Andy and how he killed himself, and then she gets the call from Andy's mom, and I think that whole scene is pretty
Oh,
funny.
that's a crazy scene where they're trying to like remember the guy who killed himself that used to sit in the corner, and they're all just like straining to feel bad about it, but none of them can remember who the fuck he was. I
Yeah,
love that shit.
yeah, that's
But
funny.
that opening scene is kind of a tour de force with John Lovitz, I think.
Yeah, he's amazing. And then they try to do it again in the second movie. Um, it doesn't
It
really work as well.
it doesn't pan out as well. Yeah, that's a mistake I think in the second movie, trying to like replicate something from Happiness. Like I think the stuff in the second movie that's like expanding on Happiness is interesting, but yeah, anytime they're
Like
doing
what
that.
with the brother, the older brother?
Yeah.
Is that the only good part?
No, I did you like really not like the sequel?
We'll get into it later. I don't say I really didn't like it.
All right, I like a lot of the things. I like a lot of things in the sequel.
Um, okay, but that's what I thought. I thought it would be like a funny movie, and I knew Philip Seymour Hoffman was in it. That's really all that I knew. And the whole time I was watching it, you're right. Like the music stuff would happen, and there were funny moments, and I was way into like what's gonna happen next. Like this
Well,
movie's so
yeah,
crazy and unexpected. I was way into the future of it.
yeah, I think Todd Solondz is one of those guys where you don't ever quite know where his shit's going. And it seems like it could be going somewhere kind of sinister and bad.
Yes, the runtime didn't bother me even a little bit.
Good, good. I'm glad. Same. I forgot actually this movie was so long because it always seemed pretty breezy to me.
Yeah, even the thing I was talking about with the what is that lady that was she was worked there? I don't even know. But the guy with the doorman scene like that, you don't need. But I was into like where it was going when it was happening. I guess.
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff with this movie, I think, even when the scenes feel sort of disconnected from the film, they work on their own terms as scenes.
They're just so honest. He just really plays it out.
All right, well,
The whole thing, everything with the sun is insane.
yeah. How do you how do you feel about the stuff they make kids do in these movies? Because that's sort of like a hot topic right now. Um, Like
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this movie. Like he's got two sons, Dylan Baker, okay? The man who wasn't the lizard.
Yeah.
And he great actor.
Great
He
actor.
he has two kids in this movies, Billy and Timmy, which are such innocent names it's almost fucking pornographic.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
Billy is like an older son, and he finds out that his father raped his friend, and he asks his father, like, first of all, he's having conversations with his dad the entire movie about how he's trying to come for the first time and can't. So
Mhm.
like it's this kid having conversations with an adult actor about coming, and it's so weird.
And yeah, keep
The
going.
dad does ask him at one point, "Do you want me to show you how?" And
Yes.
it felt to me like Dylan Baker didn't. I think he's a pedophile. I think he is turned on by his son,
Yes.
but I think he feels like he would never touch him. But I think during that conversation, it was almost like, oh my god, he's asking for it.
Yes, and also later when he brings up the thing about have you ever measured, and he's like, "Do you want me to measure?" And he's like, "No, no, that's fine." Like at every
Yeah,
turn, when he gets the opportunity, he sort of seizes it, but
yeah,
the
you're
kid shuts
right.
him down.
Right, right,
And the
right.
kid later, when he realizes this now, like a week later, he's gonna remember like, "Oh, remember that time when I brought this up and my dad was doing this?" And then he's
He's
gonna
going to spend the rest of his life thinking about every moment he ever spent with his dad and whether it was lascivious or not. It's horrible.
horrible.
Yeah. But then it culminates in that horrifying scene where he says to his dad, Would you ever have fucked me?" And the father says, "No, I just jerk off." I mean, and it's like these scenes are shot in like a two shot. Like I was looking for it. They're not faking anything. Like it's not like close ups of Dylan Baker and then cutting back to the kids.
And,
Like
and then
they're
when
in this scene together.
yeah, and afterward when the kid is just losing his mind, sitting there crying. The kid is great, by the way, right?
He's really good. Yeah, good
He's
kid
so
actor.
good. And Tim said that this kid looked like him. So shout out to you, Tim.
He
But
kind of did, dude. He said Tim sent pictures last night.
when the kid is just sitting there freaking out and it cuts to just like the shot of them sitting on the couch together, just both of them, and you're just like, oh my god. It's like you're just sitting there with them. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It really is
it's
amazing.
so uncomfortable. Um, So, like, I mean, the reason this is a hot topic at the time is because they're trying to put Tiffany Haddish in prison for child, uh,
Oh right.
for like pedophilia.
I haven't kept
So,
up with that.
all right, so there was a sketch on the internet that was like a funny pedophile sketch it was Tiffany Haddish before she was famous and Aries Spears from Mad TV, who already was a little famous at the time.
I've never heard of that person.
You might know him if you saw him.
Okay.
But so I'd heard about this and people calling it child pornography. All right.
So
And
you're like, oh my god, check this out.
no, I was immediately like, what bullshit? Fucking censorship is out of control. People should be able to do whatever they want. Like, how could this comedy sketch be considered child porn? What? They made a couple of pedo jokes. Anyone should be able to make pedo jokes. And so I watched the sketch, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, if you put a scale and on one side was comedy sketch and on one side was child
Really?
porn,
How did they last this long?
this sketch would tip closer to child porn.
What my mind is racing. Sorry. Where was this? How did they get away with this?
It was a Funny or Die sketch, and apparently, like, even at the time, it was on the site for like a day, and people complained and they took it down. But now it's coming out again because Tiffany Haddish is really famous.
When was this?
In like 2009.
2009. All right. So you're saying lock her up?
No, I'm of course not saying that, but I am saying, like, maybe we do need to think about like what we're making kids do in our movies.
So in what, like in the second movie, Um, you didn't like that?
Which part?
I think I was it your review or I thought I saw somebody's review that when the kid was like, "I don't want anything to go inside of me." That part
Yeah,
was that you
I
or
didn't.
somebody else?
That was somebody else, but I mean, I love that part. To me, that's the theme of the entire movie. You need that line.
The kid is not good though.
I disagree. I think the kid is good, and I think the kid is specifically cast because he acts like a sitcom kid.
I get that he's supposed to be like this insanely like frantic child that has never been
Look at
loved
his
in his
freckles.
life.
Those he has so many freckles. I'm telling you, it's pornographic.
Really, freckles equal porn?
For a movie about pedophilia, casting a little kid with that many freckles is pornographic. It's suggesting something.
Um, okay, let's stick on with the first movie.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So like our main character, I
It's
guess
really
you
about this family, right?
right. Yeah, I guess you're right. So it's three sisters. Is that right?
Yep.
It's Jane Addams as Joy, who's like
Should we F
um.
Mary Kill or no? Is that distasteful?
Well, what is it? Jane Addams, Laura Flynn Boyle, and who's the other one?
The mom, Dylan
The
Baker's wife.
mom.
I don't
Oh,
know.
right. Yeah, I don't know who that actress is really.
Her name is Trish.
Trish.
She's good.
Oh, no, she is good. Yeah, and she gets cast with a much bigger name in the sequel.
Who is she in the sequel?
Allison Janney.
Yes, you're right. I don't think Alice Janney's that good either. Sorry.
You don't think Allison Janney's that good?
Cynthia Stevenson is this actor's name?
Yeah.
Um, not. I don't know. Like, we'll talk about it again. We keep going to the second movie.
She's only won like 10 Emmys and an Oscar.
I know. What for mom? Is she winning Emmys for mom?
No, for The West Wing,
I
dumbass.
know. Dumbass.
CJ Craig.
All right. Yeah, it's about the three sisters: Trish, Joy, and who's the other one? Helen,
Yep.
and their
And
parents. We even get their parents.
yeah, but let's talk about them first.
You can cut that sex scene from that man and that old lady, right?
When do they have sex?
What are you talking about? For 10 minutes.
The old people?
Not the mom and the dad, but the dad in Florida has sex with like some woman.
Oh yeah, no, you need that.
No, you don't need that.
You need it.
And there's like trumpets. It's like you're just watching porn.
It's great.
It's not that great.
It's all great. So yeah,
That's sad. His whole storyline. I kind of relate to him the most.
Ben Gazzara's character.
Is he the old man?
Yeah, remind me what his arc is again.
He just wants to die. He's like, he goes to a doctor at one point. He's like, "You're healthy. You got 65 more years or whatever." He's like, "God damn it."
Yeah,
Or not
yeah, I relate to
65.
that.
That would be he would live to 140, but like 35 or whatever.
Yeah, this was Ben Gazzara, who was John Cassavetes' regular in the 70s, and you could see why, Todd Solondz was inspired to put him in this. This is the sort of thing Ben Gazzara does, just fucking raw honesty. Ben Gazzara talks in a movie that makes me uncomfortable. I love that actor. And his wife is played by Louise Lasser, who was like a hot comedy lady in the 70s.
Can I take my LVP?
Go ahead.
I think it's that woman from the apartments that the old lady goes to see, and she's like trying to talk to her. I don't think she's that good. Do you remember her at all?
No.
When the old woman is like sad having to go get her own apartment, and she's like at the leasing place, and she's talking to like that woman, and she starts breaking down, and that woman's like, "Oh, it's okay," and she takes her for a drive. See, you don't even remember this. It's so stupid.
It's not. I'm sure it's not stupid. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, it's pointless.
All right,
that woman is my LVP.
But I appreciate that there's a lot of little divergences and side quests in this movie. I know you do.
Like I like Vlad, but what like he just sort of leaves at the end. It doesn't go anywhere.
Well, Vlad, I love though, like the Vlad story is so funny. It's Jared Harris, of course, nepo baby extraordinaire, Jared Harris.
Richard Harris's kid?
Yeah, Richard
Are you
Harris's
serious?
kid.
That's Richard
Yes.
Harris's. That's Dumbledore's kid.
Mm-hmm. And he's good actor in his own right. He's on Mad Men and whatever. But he's in this movie as a Russian guy with a mustache, and he fucks Jane Addams. And
It's pretty good too.
the sex,
Yeah, it's pretty good. She seemed
yeah,
kind of happy.
yeah, yeah. You're not expecting to see Jane Addams nude, but there she is.
And I love how it goes from him singing that song to her into the sex. It's good.
Yeah, he's doing "You Light Up My Life" right on acoustic guitar, and she's so moved by it. Like, this is the nicest thing a dude has ever done for her, but he's just like a married dude. And then when she goes to visit his apartment at the end, the funniest punchline of that whole storyline is that he has her guitar in her CD.
Yeah, that was
stole
funny.
it.
Yeah, I like that. But they just sort of leaves. I was like, oh, I liked Vlad, and now he's just gone. Because that's life.
That's life, man. You know?
Yeah.
Once the wife or the husband finds out, it's hard to come back from it. I'm not saying I never have, but it's hard.
Yeah? What do you mean come back from it?
You know, then to
Like,
be
see them
able to
again?
fuck the spouse again. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. It's a complicated situation, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
Glad to be out of it now. So
Have you ever measured, D-Train?
have I ever what?
Measured?
My dick?
Yeah.
Not since high school. I remember when I was in high school, we had to have an agenda book.
That was on your
And-
agenda? Measure.
No, but the agenda book had a ruler, like the back page. The
hilarious.
back page had a ruler along the side, you know.
Mm.
And I remember one time I was doing homework up in my room, and I got a boner, and I was like, "Oh, I'll use the agenda book."
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad
So
asked.
I know exactly how big I was when I was like 16, but not since.
Okay. All right. Jeez.
Yeah,
Was it 11 inches like Ronald Farber?
exactly?
Wow. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly 11. He's lying, Ronald Farber. Are you crazy?
It's so
11 inches. Nobody's 11
It's so crazy though
inches.
thinking back on that later, like him saying that about his friend like made his dad so horny that he had to go and have sex with him. That is like so disgusting.
Listen, there are dudes out there that are just turned on by fucking kids. It's gross, dude.
What am I gonna do? I just sit here and argue, put up the other
No,
point?
agree with me.
I agree with you.
Yeah, you think that's gross?
It's
It
absolutely
is.
gross.
It's so weird. Like with kinks, you know, people talk about kink shaming.
Yeah, you just like feet.
I don't just like feet.
I
I like
know.
all kinds of shit.
I know, but like feet compare. Like I love you for that, D-Train.
yeah,
Have all the fun you
yeah.
want to with feet. What do I
I
care?
agree. Like this stuff is so weird. Like to me, it already creeps me out when dudes are like, what you know, like when dudes like are into the thing where like girls call him daddy.
Yeah.
That already, I think, is weird. All right.
It's ever happened?
Yeah,
You have to
and
just
in
keep
the-
going. You can't
in the
stop.
moment. In the moment, it's hot, but when I think about it later, I don't like it.
Do you say anything, or is it always just like
No,
one
of
time
course
and done?
not. You can't say anything during sex because you don't want
No,
the
I
sex
said
to stop.
no, but later.
No.
You never say
Of course,
anything.
I don't want to make a person because it doesn't make me sufficiently uncomfortable.
Unless you're like in a relationship and you're gonna get married, you don't want to like. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't want to rock the boat. But then to go the extra mile. I hate that we're talking. Why did I choose these movies?
I don't know. This is the episode.
I know. But it's like I have like 5-year-old nieces now, and it's like I can't imagine anyone sexualizing that. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah,
All right.
there's a lot of perversions. It's tough. Get that shit under control. Like if you're an adult and you have even like one moment where you're like, oh my god, I was attracted to that kid for a second. get a hold of that. Like,
Yeah.
fucking, like, right away.
What do?
Need
You go to a
get the fuck
psychiatrist?
a hold of or you. First of all, you should be in therapy already, and you should mention it to your therapist.
But is
Like,
psychiatry a better, like, a step further?
psychiatry's medication. Like, yes, you should be seeing both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it
By
is
the way,
just
I did like the one part where just his name's Johnny Grasso, right? Where his dad is like, I gotta get a professional. He's gay, and Dylan Baker's like, professional what? He's like, hooker. He's like, he's 11 years old. And he's like, you're right. It's too late. He is what he is. That is so funny. That is another
that
great joke.
the dad is such a mess too. Like that the kid that gets raped, Johnny Grasso. The dad in the hospital when they're like the cops are interviewing the kid and he's like having trouble answering the questions because he's traumatized. And the dad's just like, just fucking answer the
And he was
cop.
knocked out. He was like,
Oh, that's true. He fucking drugged him.
yeah, he drugged him.
Yeah, there's that really creepy scene where he's
That's
like
an
falling asleep
incredible
on his
scene.
shoulder in the car.
Oh, I thought you meant when he's trying to give him the that might be the best scene in the movie. All the Dylan Baker's the MVP of this movie. All the stuff with him is so like just the desperation on his face and in his voice. The entire movie, he is so good.
Yeah, I mean it's true. The scene where he tries to give Johnny the sandwich and he's not eating the sandwich right away. And
well, he starts with
just
ice cream, but he doesn't like the fudge, and then he's like, "What do you want?" And then he offers like go to the store to pick something up for him. He's like, "I'll go to the store. What do you want?" Yeah.
Yeah, but it's late. What do you mean? Yeah, it's
The wife's like, "Are you crazy? It's like 11 o'clock."
And then I also love him in the scene where the cops come to the door at the end, and he just like you could see like the look in his face when he goes into the other room to like tell them that the cops are there, and then when he knows they have him.
Well, and he fucks up. They say
he fucks up. Yeah.
Oh my god.
They initially ask him about Johnny Grasso, and when they sit down to like talk about it, he goes, "So, did something happen to Ronald Farber?"
But then he doesn't even realize. He just like goes right into it, still feeling like, "Oh, I might be able to get away with it."
No, he's done for, man.
What do they do with somebody like that? Like, what they put you in prison, then let you out eventually?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
They don't go away that long, dude. Like, I
you know what I thought happened? I guess I thought you go to prison and then you get murdered. I always thought everyone else just killed you.
Not everybody.
I feel like that mostly happens. How many child rapists go to prison and then live?
I would say most of them.
Really? You think most of them?
Yeah, most of them.
Jeez, I never really thought about that.
I looked up the sex offender registry in my neighborhood, Logan, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, New York. Mm-hmm. And what I found was there are roughly 1 million sex offenders living in my neighborhood. The list was so ridiculously extensive. And then you could click on each one, and it tells you what their crime was that they were convicted for and how long their prison sentence was. And all of them, it's 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like raping a kid.
All right.
It's not a good world. Like the child rapists, like they're some states give them like less of bad sentences than like, you know, drug dealers.
I think raping a child is the worst thing you can do.
Raping your own child?
Well, that's the worst thing you can do, but raping another child that's not your own child is the second worst thing you can do.
You don't think there's anything worse? Genocide.
I guess so.
I don't mean to play the devil's advocate about child rape.
But what you do to somebody, like even when you like just murder somebody, you're not affecting somebody's life as much, I don't think, as when you rape them.
Because then they're just stuck with it forever.
Like if I'm right, you know, like if I murder your mom, that would affect your life terribly. But if I rape you, that would affect your life way more.
Well, but if you murdered me, that would affect my life more because I wouldn't have one.
But I would much prefer to not have a life than to live being raped. Right?
I disagree. Come on.
I'm so close to wanting to die, and I have not been raped.
Hey, Logan.
I'm just kidding.
I know. You're not, and I relate to you, and I'm in the same boat. But let's try to keep a
I
brave
thought about
face.
we started talking as soon as we started this, but I thought about like the first thing said was gonna be like you can argue that every person in both these movies is happier than me. I don't think it's true, but you can argue.
No, that's definitely not true. There's such a fucking desperation. So many of the characters in this movie. What
Even
about?
like Helen wanting to fuck Philip
Yeah,
Seymour
that
Hoffman
was
at
the
one
next
point.
one I wanted to talk
That's
about.
funny
Like,
too, where he's like reaching over and the music's playing, but then it stops. But you can't do it.
yeah. Yes. Oh my God. His
He
hand
is
just
so
like
good.
inching towards her. He's just such a good
He
actor. Yeah.
he's really. You say he has a lot to do, but he's really like when I think about this movie, he's not one of the first things that comes to mind, even though he is absolutely disgusting. He is so
I mean,
good.
he comes to mind to
He
me just because like a couple of the first scenes I think of
Dylan
are
Baker's
Philip
the
Seymour Hoffman
like
scenes.
comes to is like the first 10 things
No, no,
that
no.
come to mind.
To me, I agree. Dylan Baker's storyline is the star of the movie, and I think that was mostly the discourse when this movie came out was people talking about that Dylan Baker storyline. But I think there's something to be said for a lot of them. Like Helen is like this weird sort of like she's got money and she's got a little bit of clout and she name drops a lot. She refers to someone she's talking to on the phone as Salman, implying that it's Salman Rushdie.
And
It's
the second one is
hilarious.
she having sex with Keanu Reeves?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought.
And she but she has this weird desperation in her where it's like everything is so perfect and put together and every moment of her life is a front that when this pervert calls her and wants to fuck her, she's like intrigued by that and invites him over. And when he comes over and it's Philip Seymour Hoffman, he's just simply not attractive enough for her to go through it.
But she tries. She does invite him in.
She
Like
does. She invites him in. Yeah.
she's like 60-40 going to kind of.
Yeah, and then she throws him Jane Addams way at the end of the movie.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's pretty fucked up.
Pretty
of her.
fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, the moment where like the Cynthia Stevenson is like, what do you mean? I'm single too. Throw a guy my way, and Laura Flynn Boyle's like, trust me, he's not for
Yeah.
you.
Why are you doing this
Yeah.
to her? What did she ever like? What did she ever give that sense that
I
she would like this guy?
I think she just sees Jane Addams as like a lesser person, and like the only person who would end up with her would be like a horrible, sick pervert.
Well, Trish was my least favorite of the three. She deserves the worst.
Trish,
Yeah, she's so oblivious to the world around her.
Helen's my least favorite of the three. I like Trish
No,
because
I get like her deep sadness. I
yeah,
I sort of like her. How like nothing in her life is genuine. Everyone just loves her for her fame and her money.
yeah. Plus, it's Laura Flynn Boyle, who's like from Twin Peaks,
Sure.
and the Practice, of course.
Yeah.
So Joy's arc. Let's talk about her.
Mm-hmm.
What's her arc? Remind me.
Well, we talked about her. She was with Vlad. She dumped
Yeah,
Andy
but
at
she's
the
got
beginning,
other
and then
shit going on.
and then she's with
Right.
Vlad, and then
And Andy
she have
kills
anything else?
himself.
right at the very beginning. We talked about that with Molly Shannon in The Office, right?
Oh yeah, I guess we did talk about that. All right.
And then the little boy comes at the end.
Yeah, he's watching a girl out on by the pool, and he comes and the dog licks it off, which always grosses me out. I forget that's coming every time I watch this
No,
movie. and
well,
it's
then he licks the fucking mom, and then I wanted to throw up and throw my TV out the window.
Oh, whatever. It's dissolved by that point.
Oh my god.
Oh, hey, I forgot. I wanted to bring up one other fascinating addition to the cast of the film.
Okay.
Johnny Grasso's mom, we meet at one point.
Okay, I guess in the hospital.
Yeah. And it was played by Marla Maples, who was married to President Trump at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is she an actor?
She was an aspiring actor who was always trying to get into shit, and Donald Trump would occasionally like get her roles and stuff. But yeah, I mean, It's probably just stunt casting. Like Todd Solondz was like, well, people might be talking about that. Like, I'll
Did
cast
they?
Trump's wife as like a pedo's, a kid who got raped mom. Um, I don't know that really added or took anything away from the movie. It's just like every time I see it, I'm like, holy fuck.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it'd be like if you saw a random indie now and Melania showed up.
what do you? I mean, you give it 5 stars.
Yeah,
Why?
I think it says more about the human condition than most movies. I think people don't want to admit how fucked up humanity is and how many perversions and eccentricities and idiosyncrasies we have just inside of us inherently. I do think like we're like a bunch of cavemen getting led around by our cocks and pussies, and we all pretend that we're super civilized and smart and above it all. And so I love it. Todd Solondz to me is like a really bright guy who can look at humanity and see it for what it is.
I think that's right. I don't think I don't leave this being like, damn, all the storylines worked out perfectly. I
No, it's
love.
not it's a messy movie. It's not perfect.
Yeah. I don't feel like this is perfect, but I do agree with you. Like, very few movies just like rip the scab off and is like, all right, this is what it is. This is like the disgusting part of humanity. Watch it and either like what I'm doing or don't. This is what it is. And I
Yeah,
dig it.
it's the best film about the underbelly of suburban America after Blue Velvet, I think.
Okay.
And it's fucked up that the very next year American Beauty won a ton of awards and shit when Happiness the previous year did it so much better and so much more truthfully.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I'll go 5 stars also. I didn't expect to.
I love that. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
You've been waiting to hear someone say that to you all your life.
Yeah, you're actually right about that. MVP Dylan Baker, you agree?
Um, I do, but I do want to give a shout out to Jane Addams. I think Jane Addams is incredible in this movie.
I think she has a nice voice too when she sings that song. I really do like it.
Yeah. She's a real
Great
indie
eyes.
darling. She's a real indie darling of the day. To me, like she was up there at this time with like Parker Posey and Sarah
Wow.
Polley and like some of the best. And it didn't pan out quite the same way. Although Jane Addams has gotten a bunch of good roles. I watched her on that show Hung about how Tom Jane has a big cock.
Okay. You can say she's really good, just like Dylan Baker, but it's Dylan Baker's story.
I know. Hey, she also fucked Kevin Nash in the in that new Channing Tatum movie. You know the dog one.
Yeah, I
Dog.
didn't know about that.
I shouldn't call it the dog one. I should just call it by its full title, Dog.
He directed that.
He
Channing.
wrote and directed.
Oh, he wrote
it,
that too. I
and
didn't know that.
yeah, and there's a scene in it where he meets a couple played by Kevin Nash and Jane Addams.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Who's your LVP?
My LVP of the film is Cameron Manheim. I don't think you need a second practice cast member. Just keep it to Laura Flynn Boyle.
I didn't know you felt
Keep
so
her
strongly
out.
about this.
I don't know. Cameron Manheim's fine. She's a good actor and stuff. She was actually a really popular actor at the time. She won
Why is the victim
maybe more than one Emmy for The Practice.
Why is the victim the LVP and not the rapist the LVP?
Well, the rapist completed the task that he wanted to do, and the victim failed at fending him off.
She did murder him though.
It's a good point.
She snapped his neck too. I thought that was a good way to do
That
it.
is good. It's a harsh way of doing it.
Yeah, I really
yeah,
like
that scene is rough, man. That doorman. Come on, man. You can't rape someone
He's
if
so
you're a doorman.
tiny. He's so tiny.
Yeah, he's just like this little Puerto Rican guy or something.
Yeah. All right, that's a fine LVP. I went with that lady that was at the apartments, but okay.
Yeah, I still don't remember that.
Exactly.
All right.
I thought you might go with the little boy, the other little son. But I think he's really great at like freaking out.
Timmy?
Yeah.
Nah, Timmy's adorable.
Yeah. And I like when she's like taking him to bed from the table, and he's like screaming and freaking out, and his Tamagotchi and stuff. I think he's pretty good.
That's in the sequel.
No, that's in this one.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. There wouldn't be a Tamagotchi reference in 2009.
No, 2010 if you're in
But
the U.S.
yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Tamagotchi, man. My mom drove me around. We couldn't find one. They were sold out everywhere.
really?
All my friends had
I feel
Tamagotchis.
like you said another time your mom said something was sold out. I think your mom lied to you. I don't think things were sold out as much as
No,
she
she
says.
drove. No, it wasn't a matter of that. She would drive me. I was in the car. We drove to multiple toy stores, went in there, asked, "Do you have Tamagotchis?" No.
Okay, all right,
I'm telling you, dude.
all right.
No, my mom was good with that shit, man. When the Buffy musical soundtrack came out, I wanted to buy that on CD the day it came out, obviously.
Yeah.
And I remember she brought me to 3 different record stores, and then they finally had it at the third one. And the third one was like really out of the way. We like called ahead of time. They were like, "Yeah, we got one."
Wow, that's very nice.
Yeah. So shout out to my mom, I guess.
Yeah, shout out to you.
She never
How
let
old?
anyone rape me. The whole time I was a kid.
Never.
No. No one penetrated. Um fucking Todd Solondz is back 10 years later. So between Happiness and Life During Wartime, Todd Solondz's career kind of took a little bit of a downturn. Not that he was making bad movies, they just like weren't hitting, you know? Like people sort of lost interest. Like he did Happiness, everyone was freaked out by it, and I think after that they were like, I think we've seen everything we need to see by this guy.
Do you agree?
No,
Okay.
not at all. I think that Todd Solondz should have all the money he wants to make a new movie every 3 years until he dies.
What's his best movie?
I
Happiness.
Yeah, to me, once you make a movie as good as Happy, if like when your first 2 movies are Welcome to the Dollhouse and Happiness, to me, Hollywood should let you make movies as long as you want.
Yeah.
That's how it should work. You've earned your way. Like I understand. Like if
Innocent
you then
until
make like
proven guilty.
if you make like 5 in a row that like lose a ton of money, then like fine, whatever. But I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And like, I mean, Todd Solondz hasn't made a movie since 2016. Is that his choice? I have no idea.
How old is he?
It's a bummer.
Is he like an old guy?
No, I mean he went to college in the 80s. He was born in 59. That's not that old, right? It's like 60.
Yeah, 63.
Yeah. So after fucking Happiness, he does Storytelling, which gets a kind of a big cast and a little bit of a bigger budget. And Bell and Sebastian wrote the soundtrack, but it tanked, and no one really went to see it. And then no one wanted to finance his next movie, Palindromes, so he financed it using all his own money. And then that didn't make any money. So then he was like really in dire straits. He didn't know what to do. So then it was like the only thing he could do was make a sequel to Happiness.
That sucks.
Because he could get like financing for it.
Mm.
And I mean, this movie did sort of help his career a little bit. He got a few things made after it, notably Dark Horse, which I think is one of his best movies. I thought, to me, when I saw Dark Horse, like that felt like a return to form. I didn't see Life During Wartime when it came out. Like, I didn't want to see a sequel to Happiness. It didn't make sense that he was making a sequel to Happiness with different actors.
When did you see it?
It reminded me of like Lightyear. Like when they announced Lightyear, I was just like, why would you ever do that? And that's how I felt when they announced this. And
You don't still agree?
no, I do agree. I would prefer it if he never made this movie, but I like that it exists. I think like you don't have to connect it to Happiness if you don't want to. Like you can ignore it if you want to, but I think like as an epilogue, like a 90-minute epilogue to Happiness, it kind of works for me.
You cared about going back and seeing Andy again?
I mean,
Pee-wee?
I understand why you're saying that character in particular, because like no, we never needed to see that character again. But
We see him kind of a lot, like 3 times.
well, I mean, he was significant in her life ultimately. Like
Yeah.
we catch up with her many years later, and she thinks in Happiness that she still is capable of doing better than Andy. And then when we catch up with her years later, like she's been with like the Philip Seymour Hoffman character for years, and he still hasn't stopped fucking perving on women and shit. So
Did,
she's thinking back, and she's like, at least that guy loved me.
did he know that Joy in the first movie, Philip Seymour Hoffman calls Helen all the time. That's his neighbor. He likes Helen, but then he also calls Joy, right?
Yeah,
Does he know that they're sisters? What's his plan
no,
there? That's
I don't.
complete accident there.
I think so. I don't think
Come
that
on,
he ever. I don't think it ever comes up.
that's
Like the
weird.
entire time they're together, because I think he's just calling random people from the phone book,
Like in his
right?
area code or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's calling people with like female numbers. I like when he calls that one
Female
number in a
numbers
dude.
as opposed to
Well,
the male
in the
numbers.
phone book, everyone's listed by a name.
I know.
So don't be a dick.
Sorry.
So I like when he calls that one number and it's a dude answers and he like acts like annoyed, like fuck. He
Yeah.
hangs up the phone. Oh, Philip, he's so good. So let's talk about some of the recasting in this movie. Joy is now. Well, what do you think of it as
the
an
movie?
idea?
I
No,
don't
just
like
the
it.
recasting. You don't like it, okay?
Oh, the recasting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Who cares? Don't do it.
Well, it's an interesting thing to do. I do think
I just
that,
don't like the idea of this movie.
okay. It works for me on a thematic level because it's years later and all these people want to believe they've changed so much. I like there's a meta moment in the opening scene where Joy says to him like, you're a completely different person now. It's because he's Michael Kenneth
I didn't
Williams.
think about that.
Yeah. But let's just talk about like the performances. What did you think? They replaced Jane Addams with Moaning Myrtle.
Yep.
Yeah. They replace Cynthia, what's her face, with Allison Janney.
Yep.
Um,
All not as good as the original.
yeah.
So far.
Dylan, I think Allison Janney's better than the original.
No.
They replaced Dylan Baker with Kieran Hines.
Yep. Not as good, but
The
pretty
villain
good.
from Justice League.
Yeah. And also from Harry Potter. He's Aberforth, right?
I guess. Jesus Christ. They replace Laura Flynn Boyle with Ali Sheedy, but she's only in one scene.
Yeah, but she's great.
She is great. And isn't it nice to see Ali Sheedy?
So great. I kind of thought it was Parker Posey for a second, but it's not. It's Ali Sheedy. And she's great.
Yeah.
Like her voice is great. The I don't know if it's just her voice, if it's just natural, or if she's specifically saying words the way she says words. But I want to watch every movie she ever made.
Who? Ali Sheedy?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know her from The Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah, that's all I know her from, really, I think.
If you want to see a good adult Ali Sheedy performance, there's a film from the late 90s called High Art that's worth watching.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like an average 90s indie. She's like a lesbian in an apartment complex, but like whatever. It's a good movie.
Okay.
Okay. So, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is now Paul Rubens, right?
No. Paul Rubens is John Lovitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman is Michael Kenneth Williams.
Right.
I always wondered whether they cast him because he has 3 names.
He doesn't need to be in this movie, and neither does Paul Rubens. All of the Joy stuff I don't like.
It's a Todd Solondz movie, and it feels Todd Solondz-y. I think like if you want to connect it to Happiness in your head, for me it works. But also if you don't, it kind of works as its own movie about people recovering from trauma. I just like all the threads about like a family that is trying to get over the father of the family unit going to prison for pedophilia. Like we catch up with Billy in college now, with 3 different Daniel Johnston posters on his wall, interestingly.
A Neutral Milk Hotel poster.
And
too.
a Neutral Milk Hotel poster. Yes, very good.
You know this guy, right?
Yeah,
Chris
I did
Marquette.
recognize him. What's he been
He's
in?
been in a few things that I like. Well, he's in Barry. You probably know him from Barry. He's like the friend, the military friend in
Oh
Barry.
yeah, he gets killed in the car.
God, I knew you were gonna spoil that. He's the brother. He's Ryan Reynolds' brother in Just Friends. He like always beats him up in that movie. Do you remember that at all?
I mean, I remember Just Friends, but I don't remember anything about it
Oh,
except that he was in a
he
fat
has like a
suit or
mom
something.
and he has a brother. He's the brother, and also the movie that I recommended you Friday on. Hey, I'm watching here. The Invisible. He's also in The Invisible. He plays the friend in
Oh
that movie, and
yeah,
he's good in that
I
movie too.
forgot that you recommended me a movie
Yeah.
on
Well, I
Friday.
just reminded you. And I love this
Yeah.
guy. I've always liked this guy.
Well, I guess I do too. Look at this. He played a young Maxwell Sheffield on one episode of The Nanny. Speaking of the nanny's mom was in this movie.
Really? Was she the monster?
No, she was the mom, like the mom. Uh,
Allison Janney? The mom.
the no, like the old lady.
What old lady? Oh. The new one, old lady? Okay.
Yeah, the new old lady.
She's in like
No,
one scene.
the monster is not a monster. Like it's so fucked up. Like
Yeah, that was kind
he
of sad.
goes off to fuck Charlotte Rampling, and like Charlotte Rampling's like a beautiful older lady, and we get to see her naked. I was kind of into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who fucks her? Is that Kieran
Kieran
Hines?
Hines. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But then he just like steals money from her.
Oh, that's right. And he's stealing money the next morning, and then she catches him and sort of lets him, right?
It's very sad.
Yeah, it is a bummer. Everyone in these movies is just such a like sad, desperate loser.
Who's the happiest?
I think Billy. I think Billy is like doing okay at college. He seems to have a handle on it. Like he knew exactly. Like when his dad was asking him questions, it felt like he's thought about this. He has feelings on this, and he knows what to say.
Yeah, and he and his mom know that he is alive, but they're going along with the plan that he's dead. Yeah, I feel like he's
Yeah.
sort of doing okay.
That scene is so fucking horrifying. I love it. It's a fascinating scene.
What, the
'Cause
college part?
yeah, it really does. I think it's what would happen, or what very much could happen if like a pedophile gets out of prison. Like the Kieran Hines character, aka the Dylan Baker character, has been in prison for like 10 years, I think. And they when he gets out of prison, I like, to me, I get the sense he spent his entire time in prison, like thinking about his perversion and hoping that it doesn't extend to his kids. And so he immediately just goes to see Billy, and he asks him a bunch of really blunt questions. Like he just needs to know this, and then it's fine. I'll never
Yeah,
see
I
you
like
again.
that.
So he asks him like,
Do you think
do
about women?
you yeah, are you gay? Do you think about, when you fantasize about women, do you think about raping them?
Yeah, he did ask that.
Yeah, and I mean that's a crazy thing to be asked, but it's probably because like that's how it started for Dylan Baker,
Yeah.
right? And so when he gets a no and believes Billy, that seems like enough for him. Like, okay, I will disappear now.
Yeah, literally, he turns into a ghost at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some ghosts hanging around in this movie.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
I don't
It's so
necessarily
dumb.
need that shit.
Paul Rubens
I
is
mean-
a ghost. We get Michael K. Williams as a ghost.
No, I liked the Paul Rubens ghost. I wasn't
he's
that into
good. He's really good.
the Michael K. Williams ghost in the bathroom. I wasn't into, but the Paul Rubens ghost, when she walks into, it's like a TGI Fridays. She's sitting.
She
in
walks
or
past a
something.
Payless. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah. Todd Solondz really likes putting like real places in his movies. There's a really funny establishing shot of a Toys R Us in Dark Horse, where he just shows a Toys R Us, like an exterior of a Toys R Us for like 30 seconds, but he blurs out the words Toys R Us. But it's
What?
just really obvious that it's a Toys R Us.
He does that with the child. The dad is seeing a blurred out child and it turns into his son. Is that does he kill himself at the end? Does he realize he's attracted to his child? He kills himself, maybe?
Who are you talking about?
Kieran Hines is like remember he's seeing like a blurry dream of a little child, and then it turns into what's his name? Timmy? Well, I don't know. Whatever the little son's name is.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? What are you talking about?
No.
It happens many times.
Whatever.
All right, sorry.
You didn't like this Timmy kid?
Uh, no, not particularly.
He's still acting. I just looked him up.
In what?
Uh, he was in an episode of Will and Grace a couple years ago.
Okay, I always forget. There's
I mean, he's
also a
doing.
daughter too.
Oh yeah, there's like a little. We don't really ever get into
Well,
what she's
there's
feeling.
one funny scene where she's like, "Mom, I need medicine," and Allison Janney's like, "Go in the cabinets, buy the Percocets, take whatever you need."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. She's just like highly medicated and shit. She's on Clonopin. She keeps referring to her Clonopin, which is the medication that I don't think Henry would mind me saying this, that he was on when I lived with him.
I don't know what
If
that
I
is.
was, it's an anxiety medication, and I would occasionally have anxiety attacks, and Henry would lend me one of his Clonopin.
Okay, that's nice
Yeah,
of him.
it was very nice.
So, what's your favorite storyline in this? The son and the dad. Does the dad rape that little boy? He sees a little boy at one point. Does he rape him too?
I don't think so. What? You remember details like I don't. I don't know
I
why.
also watched this 2 days ago. I sort of sat with it longer.
Oh
I
man,
did
well,
watch
I
this
watched it
Sunday.
yesterday. I should remember it.
Yeah, and you've seen it more than
Um,
me.
I think I like the stuff with Allison Janney and Michael Lerner.
Yeah, I like Michael Lerner.
Yeah, they
I
bring
forgot
in
about him.
Michael Lerner, who's a great character actor. Just one of these dudes with such a great face. He's in a ton of. He's definitely Barton Fink. I know that. I think he's in other Coen Brothers movies, and he's of course Mayor Ebert in Godzilla, and he was in I think the Clueless TV show. I want to say playing the dad. Yeah, I like Michael Lerner,
This
and
poor guy though, like meeting this woman that he likes who just happened to have been married to this child rapist, and now he's like having to deal with the son who won't let him touch him or he'll freak out. Like this guy's going through a lot.
that's a really horrifying thing that the mom specifically tells the son, like, of course you're going to like really emphasize this for your kid if like your ex-husband was a pedophile, like if a man touches you, scream, right?
Well,
So then
and
like
sh- I guess it's more the character than Allison Janney. Like the character is supposed to be stupid as hell. When why would you not just tell your son? This kid, what, like 11 years old, 12 years old at the time? He's asking you straight up, like, when a man does things with a boy, what does he do? And she's like, well, he just touches you. Why would she not say, like, why would she not just be honest with him at this point? Like, our life is fucked up. Our son knows you're asking me. You obviously know the deal about the world. I'm just gonna be honest. And she still lies
she's
to him.
still trying to sanitize it.
Why though?
Yeah.
I would be the best parent. I really believe that.
I believe I'm the best parent in the world, because the best thing you could do for a kid today is not let them be born.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
Yeah. Um sorry, what were we just talking?
Michael
Oh, the
Lerner.
Michael Lerner. Yeah, so he goes up, and it's in it like the most vulnerable moment in the movie where Michael Lerner, I think in that moment, realizes that Timmy has dealt with molestation.
Yeah,
And so he touches Timmy on the shoulder, and Timmy immediately screams. And he was just trying to comfort the fucking kid. And
he's
and
really
and
good. I'm
that
thinking back on it now. Michael Lerner's really
yeah.
good.
And that's it for the relationship. And then I like the scene after that where Timmy's talking to the Michael Lerner character's son outside,
Oh yeah, you like
which
that
is
guy?
even weirder for Todd Solondz fans, because that character is from Palindromes.
The character?
The character, the
It's like a
yeah, he's
spinoff of Palindromes?
well, I mean, this is a sequel to Happiness, but this character, he's explaining to the kid at the end that he like he once was accused of touching a kid.
Okay, I don't remember
You
that.
He said, like, to try and tell, like, I've dealt with that before, he says. And that's in like that character, that actor is in Palindromes, and that happens to him. So they're referencing another Todd Solondz movie there.
Okay.
Um
I didn't pick up on that, obviously.
yeah, but yeah, I did like that scene.
Which scene again?
with them talking at the car, like when he's leaving, like Timmy's sort of apologizing, but like they're just too far gone.
I'll tell you, I was into what I, happiness worked on me so well that I came into this with an open mind, absolutely like on the ride, waiting for things to happen. But then nothing really happened that I loved so much, except the brother scene in college.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I don't think it's a super inspired movie. I think this was Todd Solondz in a bit of a career rut, trying to get some eyeballs back on him by revisiting the characters that he's best remembered for. I actually think he probably would have been better off sequelizing Welcome to the Dollhouse. Just do Don as an adult. Like people would have loved that.
Okay.
But but he does this, and then nothing he did after this really hit big again ever. I think Dark Horse is really underrated. Wiener Dog, kind of nobody that kind of came and went. I feel bad. Like I want to see him do more.
All right. Well, he's young apparently.
He's not young. He's like 60.
Yeah.
He's got a movie in development right now called Love Child, according to IMDb, and I just hope this gets made. Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz are attached to it.
Ooh.
The plot
Back from
is
The Lobster, working together again.
very good, yeah. The plot is an 11-year-old boy schemes to reshape his mother's love life to disastrous consequences. Come on, that sounds good. That sounds like a good Todd Solondz movie.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, make it. Let it happen, Hollywood, you motherfuckers.
All right, you give it 3, I guess, right?
This movie, yes, I give this a 3.
All right, I will give it a 2.
A 2, really?
Yeah.
Man, all right.
Not enough there for me, really.
Not enough there for you, and you're apparently very anti Allison Janney for no reason.
I like her. I just didn't like her in this, but I guess it is the character is just so oblivious.
It's
and
a frustrating
traumatized
character for sure.
Yeah, that scene's crazy where she's like, "He makes me so wet in the kitchen." That's fucking crazy.
Oh my god! That's another scene where like she's acting opposite a kid. Like a kid. They made that kid ask Allison Janney, "So are you still wet?"
Oh right, yeah.
And the mom's like, "No, I toweled myself
Right,
off or
yeah.
something."
What? Fucking crazy.
It's insane.
Let us know. Have you ever done that? Just kidding. Do not let us know that.
What do you mean? Have you ever done what?
Toweled yourself off.
Oh, women do that all the time. I've had girls tell me
time?
that, like, if you're in public as a woman and you're like really like that happens like real bad, like you're uncomfortable the rest of the day. You kind of have to go clean up.
Wow, you need a towel.
Not a towel necessarily, but you could like tissues,
A napkin.
whatever.
Okay. Jeez,
Yeah.
never knew about this. My MVP. I wrote down 3 names. I didn't really pick one. I wrote down
Michael Kenneth Williams.
Nope, those were not the 3 names. I wrote down Michael Lerner.
Yeah, he's my MVP.
I wrote down Ali Sheedy, and I wrote down Chris Marquette.
Chris Marquette. Oh, and by the way, Chris Marquette in that college scene, he's hanging out with Gabby Hoffman. It was fun to see her.
By the way, Marquette is the name of a college. Was he at Marquette? I think that's where Dwayne Wade went to college.
Very good.
Dwayne
Wade, of course, famously spells Dwayne wrong.
Yes, Dwyane. It's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like when I was young, all the people around me were like, didn't know how to spell Dwayne Wade. And I was like, guys, why don't you know how to spell Dwayne Wade? I'm so much smarter than you. Anyway, I'm going to go with Michael Lerner.
Okay. We're both going with Michael Lerner, the dad from the Clueless TV show.
And he's the new character. He's like the one new character that was not in the old movies. Maybe that's why I liked him.
That's true. Yeah, maybe. You know, he felt fucking fresh to us. Like, it didn't feel like a copy of something. You know, and I appreciate, like, Michael Kenneth Williams being cast as Alan. To me, if you're not gonna cast Jane Addams as Joy, like why cast Shirley Henderson? Shirley Henderson like is exactly the same actor as Jane Addams.
Wow,
she's just British Jane Addams.
Jesus.
Like, there's no point.
By the way, Michael Lerner's name is Harvey. I'll never hear Harvey and not be able to think of Harvey Weinstein ever again.
I'll never hear Harvey and not think of a giant bunny in Jimmy Stewart's imagination.
I don't even know what that is. I don't think
that's a movie called Harvey from the 50s.
I don't think it's on my list.
Jimmy
I'll have to
Stewart
put that on my
thinks
list.
He's talking to a giant rabbit the whole time.
All right, who's your LVP?
My LVP of this fine film. Boy, I probably should have written this down. Boy, yeah, I'm gonna go with Kieran Hines, and I feel
Wow.
like I've gone with Kieran Hines before on this show. He's an actor that really doesn't do anything for me, and so to put him in the Dylan Baker role, which is like the most complicated, most subtle
Most
performance in the
desperate.
original.
That's what I would
Yeah,
use. He's just so desperate the whole movie.
yeah. I don't know that the Kieran Hines performance does much for me. He captures this sort of desolation of having been alone for so many years in prison, but I don't know. Like there's a thing in Happiness where no matter how fucking shitty everybody does, you can sort of see things from their perspective. Like even rapists in that movie, like you can see what they're feeling. And that's like a special thing about Happiness. And I don't think that's really captured in Life During Wartime. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about the Kieran Hines character much in this movie. I kind of just want him to leave his family alone.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, can I go with the ghosts as my LVP?
All of them?
Yeah, because I think Paul Rubens is good, so I don't want to go Paul Rubens. Um, Michael Kenneth Williams, honestly, you could go with. I don't love him in this.
He's passed away.
Yeah, so I would feel terrible.
You know what I didn't appreciate and I thought was kind of racist?
What?
They it's the only character they cast a black guy instead of a white, as a character who was white in the first one.
Yeah.
And there's one line in the first scene where Joy is talking to him and like saying like you've really cleaned up, like you've stopped calling women, you've stopped jerking off, and one of the things she says is you've stopped your gang
Oh
activity.
my god.
Like she implies that he was in a gang, and it's like that's not a part of the character in the
Yeah,
first one.
if you're writing new
It
stuff
seems like
specifically for the race of this new guy, that is
I
horrible.
literally, yeah, like it's just a joke that was
What
added
the
in
fuck?
because the character's now black. Like it's not good.
That's terrible. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I wanted to pull Todd aside and be like, "You should cut that line out, buddy."
Yeah, I don't like that. I think I want to go with the
Yeah.
ghosts though. Ghosts in general, because that was the worst part
Okay.
of this whole movie. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, ghosts are my LVP of real life. They're not even alive.
Yeah. Well, they are not alive. You're right.
Yeah, fucking get it together, ghosts.
Do you believe in ghosts? We don't believe in God.
No, I don't believe in ghosts because I don't believe in any afterlife.
What do you think happens? You're reincarnated?
You're not just dead. You're gone. Don't exist anymore.
All right. Well, I have so many questions after, but we don't have to get into it.
Go ahead. Ask me anything you want.
Then, like, what happens then?
You're done. You don't exist. Your conscience is dead.
So then, but then what? Like, you have to go. So, like, if
You don't have to go anywhere. You're done.
but if you don't exist, then what happens?
You're dead. You're over. The world moves on without you.
It's so too early to be thinking about this. All right. Blood is delicious. Oh, we don't say that here.
Oh my god. First of all, next week on the show.
Oh yes. What are we doing?
What are you talking
Stuart
about?
Little. What do you got?
No, you're actually not far off, to be honest. I figure let's be a little lighter. Oh,
We just
you know
did
what?
Toy Story. We don't have to do light stuff.
Well, it's not light. It's
And Lightyear.
I just thought it would be fun to do something silly. Logan picked the horror franchise that we're gonna start for October, and I'll tell you what, it's a down and dirty one.
Yeah.
It's a down and dirty one, and you're gonna wanna look through your little fingies at these movies. And so I figure let's watch something fun next week, and I'm gonna let Logan choose between two,
Ooh.
and I'll tell you why I did that because I texted two patrons of the franchise that I'm in text contact with, and I asked them to choose between three movies, and they each chose a different movie. So then I was like, all right, I'll let Logan choose between those two.
Okay.
All right. Do you want next week to cover the Flintstones and the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas,
Yep.
or Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2?
All right. I've seen Wayne's World. I feel like we've just done like Joe Dirt, Paul Blart. I don't want to do Wayne's World. I feel like that's kind of like similar. I want to do the Flintstones. I've never seen them.
All right.
John Goodman.
It's John Good in the original. It's John Goodman as Fred, and you got Rick Moranis as Barney, and I forget who plays Wilma, and Rosie O'Donnell
Wow.
as Betty.
All right, that's exciting. Where do they live? Bedford-Stuyvesant? What is it?
Bedford-Stuyvesant, yeah, in Brooklyn. No, it's Bedrock.
Yeah, Bedrock.
Get ready for a lot of puns.
I can make
about
your bedrock.
rocks.
You know that song?
No. We'll have to listen to Bedrock Anthem, which I think was written for this movie by Weird Al Yankovic.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Video for that.
Is that movie out yet?
It's not out yet, but I will watch it. I'm a fan of Weird Al.
Have you seen Elvis?
No, I will never watch that.
Have you heard the new Doja Cat Elvis song?
No, what are you doing?
No, it's Hound Dog. She sings Hound Dog. It's like a Hound Dog song.
I gotta tell you, I am sick of this repurposing of older
Me
songs.
too.
Like it, because people aren't even covering shit anymore or sampling. They're just like using it, and it's like you can't just like use a hook from. It's fucked up.
There's like Elton John has a few of them out there. There's Glamorous. Do you
know what one? You know what one bothers me? You know that one where she's like, it's like Fantasy by Mariah Carey, but then it's like I got big dig energy.